We have done a lot of different experiences with planting a church. Back in the time when we started was in 1998, and different circumstances made it so that we didn't have a network around us when we started. We started kind of independent, and as the time went on, it seems to be a big hole in our ministry, in our church planting, that we didn't have a network to be a part of. As time went on, we got into a network, which was a huge blessing for us. In Norway, we have mountains, and when people go out in the mountains, we have some rules, and one of them is that you always should tell someone where you're heading, where you are about to go. And of course, it's because if you get lost, if you don't reach your goal, people will know and they will go and look for you. And in a sense, that's the way it is to plant a church. You go out to maybe a tough terrain, and if you don't reach your goal, if you're not heading the right direction, in a network, people will pick you up, they will help you, and you have someone to report to. So if it's possible, I would recommend everyone to be a part of a network. It's a huge blessing. The other lesson we learned about church planting is the importance of having a call upon your life, to have a confidence in God that God really wants you to do this. God shaped in me in the beginning of the 90s a call to plant church, and that was some years before we started. In the beginning it was a rocky road, it was challenges, and sometimes you don't feel it give you anything back. It's just a huge price to pay. And in these hours, you need to have this strength inside that God has really called you. Paul is writing some of the same things to Timothy in 1 Timothy 1:18, that he commits him to this work in God according to the words that has been spoken upon him, like prophetic words, and he should do his warfare according to these words. And I think this is so important. Sometimes you need this call to carry you through. So I wouldn't recommend people just to try start a church, because so many times when people give up early, there are so many people who just laying in the tracks, being hurt and being wounded. So I think it's important to have this calling in your life, to know that you're ready for a long run. That's a huge lesson. The third lesson we learned about church planting is the importance of building a core team. From the tradition where I come from, I was very much used to leadership from the pulpit through speeches and sermons, which is good in a way, but when you're going to plant a church and start something, you need a core team. And the whole idea about church is about the body of Christ. It's about the different limbs who has different work they can do to fulfill the plan of God. And I think Jesus modeled this very, very good with his disciples. He was building a core team before he released the big vision about go out to all the world. In many ways, you can see for Jesus, the core team was more important than the huge crowds. So we have tried to put emphasis on this as the years has went on, to have a strong core team and build a strong core team. And it really carries us through as leaders. We can help each other and so on. So that's my recommendation, and what I learned is the core team is so important for stability and support and everything. It's necessary to have a success in church planting.